investment by helping doctors. And I was able to, in this particular slide deck, have some room to put down maybe even 5 ways we're going to show you how to build that healthcare business. But, that's the biggest thing, Patrick. People know that our investment is $26,990, so that's right at $27,000. And, right now, that is in comparison with any other type of business opportunity is still a very good value.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of business opportunity licensing situations like we are, or even franchises out there that are anywhere close to just $27,000. That's one of the questions we get from Eric, as you know, from people is, how is it that you're selling this opportunity in this business package as low as you are?
Yeah.
But folks, what we want to do is help people realize that we want you not just to come through our training, but to actually start doing the billing for doctors, and we get a little bit of payments from our technology partners on the back end. So we have a vested interest on getting as many people as we can at a reasonable investment on the front end, training them and supporting them, and then of course making money on all the processing that goes through our system from those people. So Let's get into the details here about what they are actually going to be doing in the business and how they're going to earn back that investment. That's important.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of know beforehand, how quickly can I get it? What exactly am I going to be doing here? Because a lot of people, Patrick, we still get a lot of questions. So what really will I be doing, as a medical biller or a medical revenue manager? I think there's some folks that have a little bit of misunderstanding about what all this might be. So I thought we would just kind of start here. I mean, this is kind of very basic. We've got just a picture here, a doctor in the middle, there's a super bill, and then there's someone who would be someone like an ABS licensee, someone that's going to be working from their home. Let's kind of talk through this. I guess, you and I are at that age where we go see doctors a little bit more than normal before we were 30. So
yes.
We can almost do the process ourselves.
Oh, that's right. Well, I've seen many of those forms that look similar to that when they're pictured, even though it's kind of tiny. Folks, you've gotten something like that when you get through seeing a doctor. Usually they'll take that up front, and you'll see that as part of, and all this, we refer to it as a super bill, but sometimes they refer to it as a day sheet. It's just basically something about you. It has numbers circled on it that have to do with the diagnosis from the doctor and the procedures that they did for you to help you get well. And so you have to take that up to the front office to, actually have your insurance pay it or however you handle that. Well, in our case, the doctor is getting that to you as one of our licensees through our electronic health record system. It's not a piece of paper at all. If they don't have one of those, there's a picture of it right there. If they don't have one of those, of course, it's on paper, but it's also sent electronically to your computer, so you don't have to deal with paper at all.
Right. Yeah. So, folks, if you kind of just see this, we're kind of just sketching this out for you as best we can so that you get a good general overview of, obviously you go see the doctor, they've got this tablet or some type of a laptop that they're always typing in on. That's what's considered to be your medical record, and it's an electronic medical record now. But when they get through typing out all their notes, a lot of people think, Patrick, that the doctor's through with the note and they'll be all done, but not in many cases. I mean, we know doctors that stay after hours finishing their entire day, and then they send it on over to a biller.
Yeah, and of course, in our system, that's all done automatically as they're seeing the patient. All their notes and everything are being compiled almost by an automated, intelligence, AI. Because behind the scenes, our software takes what they are tapping on their iPad using our system, as the doctor looks like that in that picture there. And basically, that turns that into the data that you need on your end. Now, remember, it's a cloud-based system. So you can log in from any computer that's got an internet connection through any browser. The doctor and his staff are connected through Wi-Fi, to the internet. And so it's all totally automated. And Eric, the exciting part is that we don't have to even have ours sent through a third-party company like a clearinghouse.
Right.
Our clearinghouse is built into it.
Yeah. It matters. Take that little building right there. We've got represented as a clearinghouse, and set that outside of a billing system like Viday just asked, what is Epic that I usually see in a doctor's office? Well, Epic is just a software. It's an EMR software that's connected to some type of billing system software. But after that, it's still got to go through some third-party clearinghouse, and ours is internal. Matter of fact, that EMRX that you see to the left is actually part of the billing system over here already. So when the doctor does get through, it's automatically here. You as an ABS licensee goes through the billing process, which we'll show you in just a moment. And then Patrick, it's so amazing, and this is where I see our biggest advantage is that it's going directly to those insurance companies, sometimes the same day.
That's right, and that's why the doctor gets paid faster. Sometimes as little as in 7 to 10 days instead of 30 to 60 days. And our rejection rate is way down below the average for most doctors is somewhere around 20 to 30% rejection on those initial submissions of those claims. Ours is less than 2% nationwide, Eric.
Right.
That's pretty exciting. And that means more money in the doctor's pocket, which means more money in our licensee's pocket, which, by the way, means more money for us as a company as well. So it's a win-win-win situation. Hey, I got to point this out, though, Eric. You mentioned the electronic health record system there, shown by the doctor using it on his iPad as he interfaces with the patient. That goes directly into our system, of course, that you then have access to as an ABS licensee doing the billing for that doctor. But these are not two systems.
Right.
These are all one system that are all written by the same programmers in the same building. And so that's important that you know that, because there are some companies who sell software, that actually comes on a CD that you actually install on your hard drive. It's not cloud-based. And they use an electronic health record system that's completely separate, written by a different company.
Right.
And somehow is pieced together with baling wire and bubble gum so that it seems to be integrated, and it's not. So be sure and check that out carefully if you're just looking at software.
Right. Yeah. Software is a key element. And you'll hear us talk several times that we're not going to try to resell software. You're not going to be a sales rep for American Business Systems. So don't even kind of think that. You're your own independent medical billing company. We're just supplying you with what we know is the number one way in helping those doctors get paid. And so what we thought I'd do, Patrick, just for a brief moment, is just, again, this is kind of what we were asking the question is, what am I going to be doing in order to get this return on my investment? And so I thought we'd just take a few slides here just to kind of show you. Now, what I'm going to show you here, folks, is just some screenshots. Patrick, it's great that we can do a live demonstration for our prospects, those people that are here that are looking into this business. Anybody that's on the call today, if you haven't seen a live demonstration, I would certainly encourage you to see that, because it's only so good with screenshots versus a live view of it through a GoToMe. Wouldn't you agree, Patrick?
Yes, and Eric is speaking from his own experience, folks, as one of our business coaches here at ABS. He's also the head of our research and development department, but he's also a person who can do these demos for your prospective doctors and for you as somebody who's looking to get into this business. Now, the reason we do that one-on-one is we want to show you and let you ask all the questions you want about the system. Since it doesn't come on a CD, we can't send you a sample in the mail. We can get online with you in real time using our real system, although they're fake patients that are in there, I think, Eric, right? They're not real patients. But we go through this as if you're actually using the system. And folks, it will blow you away when we show you this. The doctors who watch it say, wow, I never dreamed that there was something this advanced out there.
You bet. Yeah. So let me just show everybody real quickly how billing is actually done and through our system. So what we'll do is come right up over here where it says billing, and we'll open up that one part there, and you can see it enters. You can see where it says enter charges, and that we can enter professional claim charges or what's called non-claim charges, and we won't get into that too much, but the professional claim charge is really where we're going, and that opens us up into this particular area of the software. Now, some of you may have some background in medical billing, and you're thinking, okay, this is pretty common, and I see this, and it is. It's a pretty common process. But folks, where we are in this section is where you put in what's called the diagnosis codes. And Patrick, we both know that diagnosis codes is what's wrong with us as a patient. And they got to put it in some type of format that the insurance companies can understand what's wrong with you as a patient.
Right, rather than just type it out in paragraph form every time, they use numbers. And folks, there's thousands of them. Eric, what are they up to? I don't know, 60, 70,000 codes?
Yeah, it could
It's
be
a
more
bunch.
than that.
And so, folks, the nice thing is that, like he's showing here, those codes are built into our system. You don't have to look them up in a book anymore or go online. This is all integrated within our system, and they're always up to date by our certified medical coders. So you don't have to go to a college course and become a, medical coder. The codes are already in our system.
You bet. And you're going to get all these codes, as I'm showing you right now, directly from the doctor, along with the dates of services and the procedure codes, and the fee schedules are already built inside the system. And then once you've got all of this in there, now there's one thing that you can't see here, and that's what's called denial of offender. Patrick, this is what's great. Denial of offender will actually kind of look forward. That is as almost if you've sent it over to the insurance company, and it's going to dissect it and scrub it and make sure that there's no errors. That's why when you said earlier that we have less than a 2% rejection rate. And the reason is because we're doing things, because we're the clearinghouse, we're actually like going to the insurance companies and checking that. So there's a big part of this of why we're keeping that less than 2% so low.
Well, it's also why it's important that you always think in terms of using the system, folks, that's in real time. The only way that can happen is if it's in the cloud, which means it's just stored on a server somewhere up there in another area of the country. And you don't have to worry about that because that is a redundant system, meaning it's on several servers. If one went down, the other one goes up immediately, and you never even know that. And then those servers are all backed up off-site nightly so that we always have redundancy there. I know in our 20 some odd year history of the software itself, Eric, we've never had one of those happenings of a hack or a downtime, because if we do need to upgrade the software, it's like at 3 a.m. in the morning when nobody's working on it.
Right. Yeah, you bet. All right. So in the last thing, folks, you're going to you're going to be scrolling down. I had to take some screenshots because the first one's way up here in the middle and all the way down here. Come down here and create that claim. And folks, you've submitted that claim. And what's a good thing for you to understand and you can rest in is know that it's through your billing platform, clean. It's through your clearinghouse, clean, all at the same time. So the next stage, Patrick, it's being sent to the payer. And that's, again, like you mentioned earlier as well, is that we're seeing doctors paid sometimes within 7 to 10 days instead of 30, 60, 90 days out.
Yeah. So how do you get paid for doing all this for the doctor behind the scenes, submitting the claim and so forth? It's called a percentage of the revenue. You're sharing the revenue that comes in for the doctor. So in a lot of cases, it's anywhere from 5 to 8 to 9% on the actual money that's billed and collected for the doctor. So if you're collecting $100,000 and you're charging 7%, then you're going to make $7,000 that month just for doing the billing for the doctor. And Eric, talking about that one claim that you just showed that people were putting in the screenshots in real time, that only takes about 2 minutes. Yeah,
less than 2 minutes at the most, folks.
Yep.
So let's talk about now, kind of shifting gears here. What is your return on investment potential? And so, folks, if you haven't been to our website, we've kind of shown you a couple of screenshots here again. You can go directly to the middle part of our front page of our website, go to Income Potential, and go to Medical Billing Income Calculator. So what we have there, we already have some numbers that are already in there. So, but you can change those. As you'll see here, we're going to change those here. But Patrick, when we go to the doctor, we always know that there's an average set of patients that a doctor will see in a day. We know it's about 25. But how often does it seem like we go to the doctor and it seems like there's 25 patients in there when I'm trying to go see the doctor?
Yeah, I've been in the room when it's full of people. And so we know that some doctors they can see 40 or 50 patients a day, but we've taken this number as just kind of an average that we've seen from a lot of our licensees clients. And we were saying that you just have one doctor in that clinic. It could be that there's a dozen doctors. So we're using very conservative numbers here, seeing only 25 patients a day, and assuming that they work 5 days a week. Then we've got in there, I think 6%. Isn't that what's there, Eric? Yeah. You can change this on our website to 7 or 8% if you just want to see, or 5%. and we've got the average claim at about $100. So sometimes that's much more than that. We're being very conservative here. That would be a low end general practitioner, I guess.
Yeah. And then obviously you can see what that develops. And so, Patrick, for a yearly gross income is right at $39,000.
Yeah, for one doctor. Now, let that sink in, folks, that there are in your area probably hundreds of doctors that need your help. All you need is literally, I tell people, if you got a handful of doctors, you're going to be making that six-figure income that most people would like to aim towards in any kind of business. So
Right.
it's a very rich. In fact, I've interviewed people. I'm doing an interview next week, which we'll tell you at the end of the webinar a little bit more about that. But this particular fellow has built his business to a huge level. And Eric, I honestly think that Albert is planning to sell his medical billing practice in a few years and walk away with 7 figures.
Wow, that's a pretty amazing thing. I know that can be certainly a goal for a lot of licensees to get it built up and then sell that that good piece of business off.
Or pass it on. Pass it on to your children.
Pass it on. Yeah. You bet. Yeah, pass it
or
on.
Sell it. Yeah.
Or sell it. You're right. All right, folks. Remember, we're kind of watching any questions, so hopefully we're not generating a whole lot of questions. We're kind of systematically going through that, but again, what I thought we would do, it's one thing of seeing numbers on a website. You don't see how it's really calculated. So I thought, Patrick, we would take a few moments here that we would actually do the calculations for everybody so that they get it. It doesn't seem like we're doing smoke and mirrors here. So again, you've got one doctor, as we stated in that box there, sees 25 patients a day, and each of those patients are generating $100 per patient per day, which again, that's about $2,500 a day. So it's pretty easy math there, folks. If you're wanting to try to calculate this thing out yourself and make sure that our numbers are right on, feel free to do that. But that's why we're kind of going through this. And we know, Patrick, that the reimbursements to the doctors are going to vary. Some will be over $100. Some may be a little bit under $100. So I think what we've been able to see with our licensees is about an average reimbursement.
Yeah, some doctors are going to see more than 25 patients a day. Some will see less. That's why we give you that option on our website to just plug in whatever numbers you want to do the calculations on. Whatever numbers you put in, I think you'll be pretty impressed when you consider that. Well, we're talking about 25 claims here. So I just told you it takes about 2 minutes to do a claim. So you're talking about less than an hour here a day that you're bringing in for the doctor, $2,500. And so as you'll see, it'll mount up pretty fast.
Yeah. So if you take that $2,500 a day times 6%, your average earning per day is $150 a day. Now, you mentioned, Patrick, that it's going to take about 2 hours. So if I do my calculations right, that's about $75 an hour.
Yes, and that's why most of our licensees tell us that they make anywhere from $65 to $85 an hour for their time, because there's just not that much time involved in the actual processing of the claims. Now, of course, you have other things to do in your business besides that, administrative type stuff, and maybe even some marketing stuff at first. But folks, it's really, really very profitable business to be in.
Yep. And then breaking that down, your average earnings, remember, we're talking about your earnings, not the doctor's earnings. We already know what the doctor is making. So, but if you took that 150 times 5 days per week, that will be $750 a week times 52 weeks. Again, you can do that math there. It comes out to $39,000. And that's how we come up with these numbers here for you to kind of get a good understanding about that. So this is a good average, Patrick, 39. I always kind of like to say about anywhere between, $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and that's going to kind of still put you within that $39,000 range.
Yeah, that's being very conservative, really.
Yeah. So remember, the whole question is how am I going to get that return on my investment? Well, if we take that $39,000 and our investment is $27,000, you can see, folks, that you can certainly get what you would know in the business world back in the black within the first year of your existence here with ADS.
Well, I started to say earlier, Eric, and a lot of the interviews that I've done with licensees in the past, I've asked them specifically that question: how fast did you see a return on your investment? In other words, when did you recover the money that you put into this business, including our licensing fee? And many of them have said, within 6 months. It's just
Yeah.
amazing how fast.
Yeah.
And for any business to be in the black ink, out of the red ink within 2 years,
Yeah.
you're doing really good
Yeah.
nowadays.
So if you think about it, if you're well within the first year of getting your return on your investment, you have broken the odds. Even if it did take you 2 years, you're still well within the average there of recuperating your $27,000 investment. But remember, the $27,000 is an investment in you, because what we're doing is supplying you with the training, the support, lifetime of support, all the things that you're going to need to get that job done. But as you do your marketing, one or two more doctors might pop up. So now that you've done one doctor, you've added one or two more doctors. So Patrick, I thought we would just add 3 doctors to this mixture here and kind of put that number in there. So the only number that we're changing here is the number of doctors that you might have as clients. Kept the same numbers: 25 patients, open 5 days a week, 6% at $100. This is pretty incredible if you think that. I mean, most people are already thinking, okay, I take 39,000 times 3. There it is, $117,000 a year for 3 doctors.
And Eric, 3 doctors, you're still not putting in 40-hour a week.
Right.
Doing the for 3 doctors. You've still got plenty of time there. We've had licensees do a dozen doctors before they hired anybody. So it's all up to you as to whether you want to either manage somebody else doing the actual data entry and spread that work out, or just do it all yourself. Keep it within your own family. Keep all the money for yourself.
Lark just answered a question, or asked a question here. I read where doctors are part of medical organizations where the organization requires the doctor to subscribe to prearranged medical billing systems. And that is true. You're going to run across those. So he's asking, how do I get around, or how do franchisees or licensees get around and get that business? Well, some have actually gotten that business with some medical organizations. Now, if we're talking about, there's a big one out there, I can't remember, starts with a K. A lot of people will remember. But Patrick, I mean, still, we know one of our licensees in California, Tierney Martins, who grabbed a whole organization of about 85 doctors.
Yeah, that was one sign up for her, one client with 85 doctors, and I think it was several clinics. But the point is, folks, you can handle any size client you want to. Now, we don't recommend that you go and sign up that as your first client. It'd be a challenge to get implemented, but the possibilities are endless, and the income is unlimited, literally.
And here's a great thing, Patrick. We're just dealing with family doctors, and again, to kind of Alaric's question here, what you're going to find are going to be your doctors who are more specialties, who are going to be more independent than you would find just family doctors. You're going to find a group of, and it was Kaiser who I was thinking of. So Kaiser's a big organization, and they employ doctors. So any of those doctors are not, they're not independent. And so I wouldn't want to go to those doctors anyway. So I'm looking for someone that's an independent doctor, independent specialties. That's where you're going to find how to, if you think about it, how to kind of get around all of that. And imagine, Patrick, if we had the time to go back into the income potential and put in 3 doctors that are specialists that may be billing at $175, those same numbers. Now you're talking well over $200,000 a year with just those 3 doctors.
Yeah, Eric, I've been to doctors who that's nothing to walk out with a $400 or $500 bill. Now, if you've got insurance, of course, that's okay, because the insurance company may pay that, or a portion of it at least, and the doctor's going to get more money, but you also get paid on the money that's actually collected. So, hey, the higher the fees, the better for you, not for the patient and the insurance company, of course.
You bet. Folks, let me ask this question before I go to the next slide here, because we're already at the bottom of the hour. We've got about a half an hour left here. Any questions that anybody has on the return on the investment, how to get your money back, what the projections are there? If you've got any questions, I'm going to be kind of monitoring that. But Patrick, I thought we'd shift gears now. We kind of showed what you would do as a medical biller. We showed how you can get your revenue, your return on your investment back. Now we're going to talk about actually 5 ways in which we're going to show you how to get your doctor. And these are 5 basic principles that are what I call foundational posts here at ABS of what's actually taught during our live training workshop.
Hey, that kind of ties in here with Latasha's question. Do you provide marketing support? I mean, that's what we're getting into right here. Latasha is telling you that not only can you make a lot of money in this business and return on your investment very quickly, but you have us with 25 years experience in this industry knowing exactly how to get past the gatekeeper if you need to, or work with them to get the information to the doctor so that the doctor wants to do business with you. Nobody likes to sell anything. Nobody likes to buy anything except if it's their decision. So we don't teach any people how to close deals and do some hard stuff. In fact, we do all the live demos for you so you don't have to even answer questions. We answer all the questions for you.
You bet. So hopefully, Latasha, okay, great. Thanks. And then John's asking, what is the average break point for actually hiring someone to assist with the billing? Patrick, I think I've heard from licensees, when you start getting, if you're trying to do this by yourself, if you start getting anywhere from 3 to 5 doctors, that might be a good threshold where people want to start hiring some folks. Would you agree to that number?
Yes. If they were the typical doctors that we just used in the example you just saw, that'd be 5 doctors with 25 patients a day. That's 125 claims a day that you'd be doing. At that point, you probably go, you know what? I don't want to work any harder than this. I'm going to hire somebody to do this. You know, after you've done 1,000 claims, you kind of got it down, and you can teach somebody else to do that fairly simply. There's lots of people out there that would love to work from their home. Since it's a cloud-based system, you don't have to do anything but give them a special login to the system, and they can start doing the billing. And using the technology we're using here with GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, you can actually get online and teach all that and show that in real time to someone. You don't even have to go to their house to teach them. It's a wonderful business to be in.
You bet. Alaric asking one more question before we move on. Patrick, I'll let you answer this question because this will kind of bridge us from where we are to going into building. What is a good marketing budget to start with? $5,000, $10,000? What's your take on that?
Alaric, we teach about a dozen different ways in our workshop down here in Dallas as to how to get clients. Some of them don't cost anything. Right. We've had licensees not spend one dime because some of the methods we teach on how to connect with people in your community that know doctors doesn't really cost anything except some time on your part. Now, if you've got lots of money to spend, of course, you could spend some money on marketing if you were doing mail outs or things like that, but we don't even teach that. We literally give you all the tools you need. We give you over 2,000 marketing pieces and some books that you can use to go out and market and educate the doctors. And that's all included in our licensing fee. So literally, we've had people not spend an extra penny after they got in our business just using what we give them.
You bet. So let's get started here on the 5 ways. The first thing, Patrick, anybody knows the busiest person that we're trying to market to is the doctor themselves. It's not like the decision maker is someone that sits back in the doctor's office and they're just not doing a whole lot. The entire decision on billing is left up to the doctor. How in the world do we get in front of these doctors?
It's hard enough to get just an appointment with a doctor nowadays. So that might be one way to get in front of a doctor. Just set an appointment, like go in and say, I'm just here for a checkup, and you start talking to them about their billing. But to be honest with you, folks, it's not about the selling. It's not about cold calling. We don't teach any of those methods. What we teach you to do is exactly what we're doing here on this webinar. We teach you to educate the doctor, give them enough information to where they want to make the decision. You see, that's why you'll never hear Eric and I trying to close you or give you some kind of special deal, special price, special date that you have to sign up, because we do training year round. We get about 8 trainings a year. So all we're doing is trying to educate you enough to where you want to get involved with us. That's how we teach you how to get in front of the doctor as well. With a dozen different ways, you pick and choose the one that seems to fit you, and you'll know by the end of the week which one you're going to start with. because like Eric said, we give you a set exact plan for each person that leaves that training as to how they're going to get that first client.
You bet. And folks, when you are beginning to start approaching these doctors that we're showing here on the screen, when you're using our proven methods of marketing, they're going to consider you as a resource and not necessarily as a salesperson, because I know any of us doesn't like to be sold. I mean, many of the people that are on the webinar today, when we first made a phone call to you, you thought, oh my goodness, here's a salesperson trying to sell me. No, we're just trying to give you a resources of information. And so that's where all of our proven methods of marketing all rely on. But Patrick, we know that the number one method of getting in front of doctors is networking. And if you'll explain this a little bit, because this is where you actually started a business way back when in networking. So let's kind of talk about this and kind of take the fear out of what maybe networking is really all about.
Well, really, it's just simple as this. We teach you how to find the organizations in your area that have other business people in those organizations who want to engage with doctors as well. Maybe they're selling some sort of insurance to the doctor or supplies of some kind. We put you in contact with the people that already are in contact with doctors and let them introduce you to the doctor. We call them power partners. They're targeting the same market that you're targeting, and yet they're not, of course, in the medical billing industry like you will be. So it's a wonderful way to partner with other people and help them connect with the doctors that you're connected with. They connect you with their doctors, and we'll teach you exactly step by step how to do that. Yeah, I did start a networking organization a few years back, as you know, Eric, and I did that specifically because I wanted to find out what's being done out there and what's being done right and what's being done wrong. And there's a lot of ways that people do it wrong. We teach you exactly how to do that networking correctly to make those connections.
You bet. Yeah. And folks, it moves from there. And how do you find those people? Folks, you're going to find out that you already have networking organizations right where you live, and it's called your local chamber of commerce. Patrick, I know that a lot of our licensees just simply have joined their local chamber of commerce. They have monthly luncheons that you go to, and you may not even know what you're wanting to do here in the beginning. So it might behoove you to go to one of these and just say, I just want to see what your organization is all about before you even become a licensee, because you're going to find those people that Patrick was talking about, those people who could be your power partners. These people are targeting the same people that you are, just in a different field.
That's right. And folks, again, we handhold you through this process. We'll tell you exactly who you should be connecting with at these meetings, what you should say to those people to engage with them and get them interested in working with you, and how to actually sit down and have a one-on-one meeting with each one of those people at a coffee shop or something to really, really connect with them. And at that point, now it's just a referral business. And everybody loves referrals because it's somebody who does business with somebody who says this is a good person to do business with. Right. And there's all kinds of other organizations out there, as Eric's showing here too, all over the country.
Yeah. Yes. So not only you have your Chamber of Commerce's, but I can't tell you how many people we heard that they got their first doctor from a BNI meeting or a meetup group or some type of other social networking group, because again, these people are trying to market to the same people in your local area. And believe me, they've already done some marketing. And if they've come across and go, gosh, you know what, I just sold some insurance to a doctor not long ago, and we were talking about their billing. It's amazing how that happens. Or the banker or whoever it might be, a CPA there. So they're all looking for that. So that's the number one way of doing it. And we're going to teach you very strategically how you're going to do that. You're not going to just walk in and Patrick, you were telling me at one time in some of your networking meetings, you've got that one guy that just won't be quiet. He's passing out every card he has. He's going to every person he's going to that's there. And that's the kind of guy you go, I don't want to talk with you.
Right. And even though we're talking about a lot of literal physical places that you can go and connect with in your city, Folks, there's also social media. We teach a whole section on
Yep.
how to connect with people through LinkedIn and Facebook, and there's all kinds of ways that you can make connections to these same people and never leave your home.
You bet.
So yeah, lots of that's again, we teach a dozen different ways to do it, and we're just touching on some of them here.
Now, when you're at those meetings, you can't just say, well, I'm a new medical biller. You've got to have something that's different than anybody else out there in the marketplace. So what we're talking about here, you have to have a competitive advantage. You've got to have something that just separates you from all other medical billing companies out there. That's where we start talking about the iClaim, EMRX, Clearinghouse, Patient Portal, all one unit. That's what's missing out there, Patrick, is the doctors having one specific unit.
Yeah, think of these as modules in our system. They're all written again by the same programming people, and they all completely tie everything together. So you've got your iClaim system, the practice management system that you actually do the billing on. The doctor and his staff are using the EMRX, electronic medical records, in their office. We have a patient portal that the patients can go in and sign up with the doctor, keep track of all their appointments, all their medications. Their whole history is in this patient portal. And by the way, I want to just throw this in, Eric, because we just heard that there was a company who's selling a franchise based on telemedicine. Well, that's just a communication like Eric and I are having right here that you can have inside of our patient portal. It's been in there for years.
Yeah,
we've already got that put in.
It's already there.
Visit with the doctor. And eventually it'll be through, we'll have, all kinds of laser beams and other ways of making it look like you're really there in front of the doctor, virtual reality glasses and so forth.
You might end up getting a virtual reality shot somehow, some inoculation of some sort.
Right. Through the computer, right?
Yeah. All right. So this is just, again, another layout, folks, and we're showing you that the everything's working together again to eventually get that payment to the doctor. And so whenever you're able to go to these networking meetings, you're not just saying I'm a medical biller. You're saying I'm a medical revenue manager that helps doctors get their bills within 7 to 10 days and almost 98% of their claims processed the first time. Patrick, when you can have a brief, little short, what you call an elevator pitch like that, people will kind of go, wow, how is that done? That's pretty competitive edge.
We actually teach you the exact wording as to what to say in one of these meetings when they ask, what do you do? And then we'll get you to the point where people after that meeting are seeking you out.
Yeah,
they'll come to you and want to connect with you. That's how powerful what we teach. Again, very secretive, proprietary stuff that we've come up with that we would tell you about right here on the webinar, except we'd have to kill you. We can't tell you those secrets. Well, then, training workshop, we'll tell you those secrets.
You bet. Well, you've got, again, once you've met the right people, you told them what you can do. Obviously, now you got to demonstrate it. And then that's what the third part of all of this is. And you can see what we've done is building layer upon layer upon layer, because now you've got to be able to demonstrate what you've got. And that's what really, Patrick, all the live training is really all about, is taking the 9 different services that we have and getting very, well, as I would say, you start mastering each of these services that when you talk about them, they're just right off of your lips, and there's not, there's no hesitation of what you're talking about.
In fact, we've even come up with a flip chart that we use in the training class just to make it simple for people to go through it step by step. We also have it electronically that you can put on a laptop or on an iPad to show people as well. But yes, every step of the way, folks, we're giving you one step at a time exactly what to say and convey to other people in your community exactly what you can do for doctors.
You bet. Yeah, folks. I mean, and then once you've moved it from what you're doing, then let's move it to what we can do. Remember, we'll do these live demonstrations for you so that you, again, are showing your expertise. Now, guess where your expertise is now coming from? It's actually coming from American Business Systems, the 25 years of experience that we have that now is behind you. So now we're actually doing these one-on-one demonstrations of our software directly to you for your doctors. And Patrick, this is a powerful part of support for our licensees.
Yeah, when it comes to marketing tools, this is one that you won't find anywhere else, folks, because we're so proud of what leading edge technology we have that we're willing to set one-on-one with each one of your prospects and go through what, Eric, 45 minutes to an hour each one of these.
Yep.
Step by step with the doctor. You can be there. What's that?
As long as that doctor wants to hang around, we'll keep going.
Sure. I know you've had some of them last an hour and a half, 2 hours, because the doctor keeps asking more questions, and that's a good thing, right? We'll spend whatever time it takes to help you get that client, folks, because remember, we make money as well as you on every client that you sign up, so we're right there with you. That's why we have a lifetime support.
Patrick, before we go much further, I see a question that came in here from Claude. But your patient portal isn't telemedicine. It's not offering medical consultation, correct? Claude, it is. The patient portal is the telemedicine part of it. The patient, through the patient portal, can literally go in there and request an appointment to have a telemedicine visit inside the portal, and then the doctor is going to be on their EMR side, the EMRX side. The patient, you'll be through the patient portal. There's where the communication is through that. But yes, it is. I wanted to make sure that you got that there. So hopefully that helped answer your question. But then getting back to showing your expertise, we've got a doctor that's standing behind ABS and supporting our licensees. Patrick, that's Dr. Vicki Rackner.
Yeah, I mentioned her earlier. You showed the book that she and I co-authored there. I think it's kind of one of those tiny pictures there, The New Thriving Medical Practice. And folks, this is a wonderful marketing tool that you'll be provided with as a part of your license. And by the way, Claude is asking, is there an upcharge for that telemedicine module? No, that's all a part of this one license fee that we mentioned earlier, Claude, the $27,000. So this is a wonderful marketing tool, guys, because I don't know if you can see it at the bottom there, but you can actually put your name on the cover there with me and Dr. Vicki Rackner. Imagine the credibility that you have in your community having your name on the cover of a book. This is about a 175-page paperback book. They can buy it on Amazon for $24.95. You'll be able to buy those with your name on the front cover for, get this, Eric, this is our printing cost, about $4. That includes the shipping, by the way, too. Now, you can also see there on the title page that your name is there. It says forward by. Now, folks, we've already written the forward. You can write your own if it's as good as ours, but there's no need to. In other words, you don't have to recreate it. We've got one that's pre-written. And at the end of that forward, you can see that we've got your contact information there, your name, company name, website address, phone number. It's all right there in the book. So you talk about a wonderful marketing tool. It's like a business card that's educating the doctor on why they need our services.
You bet. And so you can see, first of all, folks, that we've shown you how to get in front of the doctors, what to do when you get in front of the doctors, show your expertise with the doctors. Now that you're there and they're going, okay, I think I want to listen. We got to know their pain, because obviously we can't go in there and go, oh, now I got an audience with a doctor. Now let me tell them everything I need to know that I know. We got to go through some questions. And just like the doctor would, when you go see the doctor doesn't go, okay, well, you got a cold. Let me give you some medicine. You can say, I haven't said anything yet.
Right. You don't know what my pain is yet. So with this practice analysis, we're actually poking the pain, trying to find out from them what their current situation is. Because as we go through this, folks, believe me, 99% of all doctors will agree that they need your help once you've gone through and asked these questions and come back with the proposal that shows the solution to their pains, the prescription for their pain. We're even showing you here kind of a preview of a couple of the pages of this. I think it's 4 pages now of questions that you ask the office manager or the doctor to get information about the practice before you come back with your proposal.
And then once you have this, then you're going to fill out this. This is a practice revenue report. And this is where we're not trying to sell the software. We're not trying to sell the doctor anything except for their money. And folks, if you look all the way down to the bottom, that's what the doctors want to look at. I'll blow that up a little bit bigger so Patrick can talk through it.
Yeah, so these numbers come from that practice analysis that we just talked about, the 4-page practice analysis. You ask those questions, you take that back to your office, plug those numbers into this software that generates this report. And as you can see, here's a doctor that, their rejection uncollected rate projected from our system is only 2%. And I think the average, again, is about 30%. So we've reduced that. That means bottom line, they're going to make another $27,000 a month or $122,000 a year. Now, Eric, that's nothing for a doctor to sneeze at. This really literally does all the selling, the closing for you, because any doctor that's worth their salt that looks at that number has got to say, wow, maybe I should give this a shot,
Yeah, you bet.
If the number came out to be half that, they'd be thrilled, right? 60,000 a year. That's a nice down payment on a car for a doctor.
You bet. And you think that's $10,000 more a month. I believe if again, it's been a while since I've been to school, but I think that's $120,000 a year extra money, which is 122 to be exact there. So lastly, folks, you've got to have a plan of action. And now that you've gotten to the doctor where it needs to go, folks, if you'll see what we've done here in this webinar, we've shown you what kind of money you can make, how to get your return on your investment. We've shown you now how to get the doctor. Now you got to have this last thing, an action plan. And that's what the whole training's all about. But now that you've got that, as Patrick says, you're going to share them your proposal with all the information that you're going to want to do. Obviously, you don't overload the doctor with everything that you can do, but just what the doctors need, Patrick. I mean, you find out what they need through that practice analysis and present them a proposal.
Yeah, Eric, can you go back to that previous slide? Let me just talk about that, what they're looking at there. Folks, this is an illustration of a nice folder on the left there that opens up. You see it there on the right, opened up. You can put in the full color brochures and flyers that we have for you that can have your name and logo on them. There's a little slot there on the right for a business card. And inside that, you're bringing back their proposal. Now, this is just a templated Word document that we've created that has all of the services that we can provide to a doctor in it. And you, along with our support department, you'll decide what to take out of that and just present to the doctor exactly what you think the solution to their situation is. Remember, we're hand-holding you through that. So as we see these from you, we can help you with that until you say, I don't need your help anymore.
You bet.
And it's a wonderful way to come back professionally, showing the doctor what you can offer to the doctor and how much you are going to charge for that.
And folks, once you've got the doctor that signed that proposal, you're ready to go. It just doesn't end there as either. So as you can see here by this screen, we've got what's called an entire implementation planner, training syllabus, live webinar schedules, there for the front office, your billing staff, the clinical staff, the provider themselves, the setup and administration. We do all of that support for you, so that you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, once I get this doctor signed up, now what? You still have a plan of action, and that's the ongoing lifetime of support that you have here with us here at American Business Systems.
And folks, that's why we named our company American Business Systems, because it is a system that is, it's already gotten proven over the years that it works. If you can follow instructions, that's the biggest part right there. Come down, go through our training, and just do what we say to do. Now, Eric, we've had people go out and try stuff on their own, haven't we?
Right. Yeah. And they don't do so well.
People who think they know the best way to approach doctors or the best way to sell this to the doctors. We just teach them you can't do that. You have to do what we say works, and it works.
Right. You bet. And folks, where does this all begin? It all begins right here at training, the live training workshop. And Patrick, we are completely up at the top of the hour. I
got to run, because you know I have a 5 o'clock standing call that I need to make. But let me say this, folks, we are offering some very special things for people because it's our 25th anniversary next year. So be sure and get back with the person who invited you to this and ask them, what are these special things you're talking about for celebrating your anniversary? Eric, thanks again for putting this together.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Patrick. We'll see you later. And folks,